what seems to be one of the most commonly asked questions whenever I do a video on solar, and also when I see it up on discussions like on Facebook and Instagram and things like that, the first question people ask is, well, how much solar do I need? And that makes a lot of sense because you don't want to buy more solar than you need, and you don't want to buy less. When I say how much, I mean like batteries and also how many solar panels you have. So today I'm going to show you a little device that'll tell you exactly how much you need. This little device is called a kilowatt. And the purpose of it is to tell you all kinds of electrical things. It'll tell you how many watts you're currently using, how many amps you're currently using. But what it also tells you is this purple button here is called your kilowatts per hour. In other words, it'll measure how much energy you're using over a specific amount of time. So what we're going to do today is we're here at my father's tiny house, and we're going to measure how much energy he uses over the course of 1 hour, and then we'll be able to multiply that times 24 and find out how many kilowatts of energy he's using every day. So this is the main cord, which is a 30 amp plug that comes from the tiny house, and it has an adapter on it, standard 110. So we'll just plug that in, then we'll plug that right back into the inverter, and now it's measuring. So you can see right there, he's currently running like 120, 125, 130 watts for the entire house. Once you determine how much energy you plan to use, and this technique is very helpful if you already own your tiny house and you happen to be in an area that's powered by grid, or even you could just use a generator just to get an idea. And then once you calculate that, you can go online. There's lots of tools that tell you, you put in your address or your location or your latitude, longitude, and it'll tell you how many peak hours of sun you get per day. Like for example, here in Eastern North Carolina, we get 6 peak hours per day. So that gives us an idea of how much energy we can generate over the course of 24 hours with however many watts of solar panels we have. I know this stuff sounds confusing, but it's really not. Another thing you can do is, if you don't have your tiny house yet, you can try to find out the appliances you plan to be using. For example, my father, the 125 that you saw, watts it's running on, 100 of that is his fridge. So for example, if he were to get a solar powered fridge, or a fridge that's made for off-grid living, and reduce it to a fraction, like literally he could just run off one of the batteries that you see in the solar panel house right here, or whatever you want to call it, instead of 4. All right, it's been about exactly an hour, and the tiny house is running off of like roughly 120 watts. And so if we go to see how much predictably in an hour, he has ran about 0.12 kilowatts. So now that we know this tiny house uses 0.12 kilowatts roughly per hour, that means in any given day, a 24-hour period, he'll use 2.88 kilowatts in any given day. All right, so 2.88 kilowatts per day is actually 2,880 watts. And given we have 6 peak hours per day, that means he needs about 480 watts worth of solar panels. Then you got to take into consideration the fact that if you have non-lithium batteries, you're going to go down to 50%. And if you have cloudy days, you'll run into issues. But the best way to do it is just go online and type in solar calculator, and now that you know how much energy you would use given this approach, or if you go and add up all the appliances that, try to find out the wattage use or whatever, then you'll have a good idea of how much solar energy you need. If I failed to mention something in the video, or skip over something or whatever, just down in the comments do me a favor. If you're like an expert, if you know more than I do, just weigh in, and that way we have a good, healthy discussion. And also give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.